This should have been done already. So I posted videos about how I got to meet Jesus, and I didn't post the one, well, I guess I am now, where, yes, I got to meet Yahweh. He manifested himself to me in a dream. And I'm going to share that dream. Before I do, I want to hit up three things. One, I've even had Christians deny my experience. I've even had a pastor bring it into question. And his reasoning was, well, I've heard people say they've met Jesus and God before, but, I'm not seeing it in their life, or the evidence of it in their life. Let me remind you, Moses got to meet God, came downstairs, and he was trying to hit me up because I wasn't living perfectly at the time. I don't know what hit. I guess I shouldn't go into it. It just blows my mind. It's like, who are you to be the arbiter of who gets to meet God or not? And first story that comes to mind is Moses. He got to meet God. Was he walking on water with the rest of them? No. That dude got to meet God in the flesh. I just got a dream. Moses did it in the flesh, and he turned around, broke all 10 commandments, and had to go get a new set. And was disobedient to God. That's why he didn't get to go to the promised land. So to try to tell me I didn't meet him because my level of righteousness, we're all made righteous by the blood of Jesus, or my level of what you perceive my holiness to be isn't as high as something as you expect, it's garbage and it's not biblical. Some people have tried to denounce, it was in a dream, so it didn't count. God can show himself to you in any way that he wants. And for people who have met Yahweh, and for people who have met Jesus in dreams, you know that it's not just a regular dream. It is like its own reality. It's weird how supernaturally real everything is. I guess I might as well get to the story. I got to meet Yahweh. It was pretty dope. This happened years ago. I've shared the story since. Hopefully this video stays up this time. I was just having a dream. Just a regular old dream. And this one happened to be a Star Wars one. And I was in the dream, it'll get there, just wait, be patient. I was walking around with this droid army, and I remember I was walking towards a temple-looking place. And a sandstorm was starting to kick up, because it was kind of in the middle of a desert. And I remember one of the droids, kind of talking in the ranks, going, I think this was a trap, because apparently the enemy had lured us to this building so they could bomb it when we were there. So I heard them, and sensing in the force, I knew that that's actually what it was. And so I remember doing the little Jedi sprint away from the temple. And I was leaving everything behind, and the sandstorm had picked up to where it's I couldn't even see from me to the wall in front of me. If anyone's been to Afghanistan, it's pretty dope like that. And as I'm walking, just kind of making my way through the sand, I saw a silhouette of a figure ahead of me. And I'm seeing this guy, and I'm not quite sure who he is, and he's wearing this giant cloak or this robe that was dark brown, and the hood was over his face, and I couldn't see him. And, being in the Star Wars dream, I'm like, all right, this is kind of significant. So, I remember. And as this is going, there's a freaking fly in here. As that's going down, the sandstorm's also starting to kind of dissipate, slow down. I remember taking out my lightsaber. And just so you guys know, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. And I remember, I just got in a regular stance, some basic, I don't know, was it Form 2 or something? And I just felt like this guy, he takes out his lightsaber too, and it happened to be a blue one. And I'm standing there, and I'm just something I feel like this form isn't going to work, because I feel like he knew my weaknesses. So I remember I went to two different stances, boom, the one behind the head and all that. But no matter what form I took, I just had this innate feeling that this guy was just going to wreck my, what. He was just going to tear me apart. And somehow, and I don't know how God works in this, he allowed me, or it was the Holy Spirit, where I was just wait a minute. And I got this sneaking suspicion about this guy, And I remember like asking him, like I finally called out to him, like, "Are you him?" And that's how I said it. And in my head, I remember in the dream, I said it because it's something my dad also, there's a difference between, what's the difference between Jesus and the Father is, when you're talking about him, I like to think of it as Jesus is capital H, lowercase I M. But if you're talking about Yahweh, it's capital H, capital I, capital M. And that's how I thought. I was like, "Are you him?" In my head, I thought, all caps. And then, oh, that's right. And I asked that. I kind of like dropped my lightsaber too, because I was like, kind of the dream's kind of being forgotten here. And he pulls down his hood, and oh, whoops. I'm about to get kicked, so let me move this for a second. Bink, bink. So he drops the hood, and it's like when you meet Jesus in a dream, instantly, beyond a shadow of a doubt. To this day, I do not question it. Like, it was that real. It was him. And well, when you get that, imagine going like, I can't remember how long it was over, 25 years, born and raised Christian household, just going decades, and then you get to finally meet the guy, and I'm sitting there like this is the guy who created it. He created me. He created everything. It's like, there's 8 billion dudes out here, and he's right here. And I was just, I don't know, you kind of felt like a little kid again. And I got so excited. And when I looked at his face, I was kind of like, he was, cause I saw his face, he pulled down his hood, he was facing his eye, he was like looking right over here, right over my right shoulder. And I remember, he was like bald on top, like he had like a bald spot that kind of went around here. His hair, which was white, was here, went around, and it came down into a beard. And I think it went about to like right here, and it was just a full white beard. And the guy, tall, height-wise, because I was right next to him, he was about yay tall, which is interesting, It's like, what? Maybe he knows, like, I don't know, takes after my drone instructor. There's something intimidating when he's a little bit smaller than you, but you're like, I do not want to mess with this guy. Oh, I cannot take this guy. Oh, man, I just remembering it. God is awesome. Let me just put it like that. So, I ask, "Are you him?" He drops his hood. I see him. I look at his face, because also I'm like, I need to know what his face looks like. And let's just say it's like the personification of wisdom. And I remember when I was looking at him, like a thought crossed through my head, like inside of my head, and it was just like Ancient of Days, which is probably one of the most badass titles you can ever have. Like Ancient of Days, that's nuts. So I'm like, I'm like, oh my God, this is Dad, So I'm over there, and freaking, he walks this way, and he walks to my right, and at this point the sandstorm has completely died down. And he goes, and there's like a sand hill over here, and he sits in the sand, and he takes his lightsaber and kind of like sticks it in the dirt right next to him, like a placeholder, a cup holder. And he's just looking out in the distance. And I kind of got the sense in the spirit like he was inviting me to go sit with him. And so I go over, this is the coolest day of my life. I'm trying to think, what's cooler, meeting Jesus or meeting the Father? Jesus was awesome, but it's like God, there's just like, wow. There's just a more wow factor, I guess. Each had their own perks, but we'll go with God. The Father was a little better. Forgive me, Jesus. Not playing the favorites here. Yeah, so I went and I sat next to him. And I looked out. It's like, what are we looking at? And there was a mountain range out there. It's kind of kind of at a diagonal. Just kind of, as it was getting more to the left, it was going further away. So it's like, yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. And the mountains were shades of like gray and blue and thing like kind of green and whatnot. But the most phenomenal thing about this is that the sun was rising up, and it hadn't quite crested the mountain peaks yet, but it's high enough to where like the rays of the sun were shining through the peaks of the mountain. And when I mean, like, he made this, he made this because the streaks through the air looked like freaking like gold. It was like the brightest. This is like the sun, but it was just shining. It was like, the beams were so real, it looked like you could touch them. and the sky too. And then also he let me know that he made this specifically for me. And if you know me, you know, I mean, I remember taking a trip through the Red Rock in Nevada. And, you know, my dad's tried to take me on things where it's like, especially when I was growing up, I didn't have an appreciation for nature. I'm working on it still. I'm paying attention a little more. But growing up, I could care less. It was just like, wow, a rock, it's red. Oh, you know, wow, look, a flower. Oh, hey, it's pink. Wow, hey guys, a color, it exists. That was my mentality when it comes to this. So when I was in that mentality, that he shares me this thing that just like, to this day, I've never seen a sunrise more beautiful and awesome than that. And like the sky literally was different shades of blue. And one part, which was my favorite, was the sky it was just so blue and so almost like transparently solid. I tried to, the best way I can describe it was like a sapphire gem in the sky, but a sapphire stone you can touch. This was just sky. And that's the best way I can describe it. And it was absolutely phenomenal. I'm sitting there, I'm entranced by this thing. And, you know, it's just like he made that for me. Which is crazy for me to think about. It's like this guy took the time out of his day to visit me. And literally, and he knows my favorite color too, which is, ironically, it's not just blue. There's another level to it. It's sapphire blue. So it's crazy how he, just like Jesus kind of knew my humor when he kind of cracked a joke at me. God knows my heart because he put everything there. And sapphire blue is my favorite freaking color. Yeah, but I'm taking this whole scene in. And then me, being a kid of 1,000 questions, I remember kind of snapping out of it a little bit. And I looked at him, and he never made eye contact with me in the dream. And that bothered me for a while. Like, he was there, he was with me, but he never, like, looked me in the eyes. I have a theory, but I don't know if I want to share that. Anywho, then I started asking him a million questions, like why did you make, like, things like, why did you make me? You know, why do you choose to love me? Like, who am I? You know, like, and I started kind of asking things like that. You know, I even asked, like, you know, what's my name? He didn't answer a single question. He kind of just stood up. He started walking to the right. And there's like a bench that appeared out of nowhere. I remember kind of go and walk with him. I was going to sit down with him on the bench. And I woke up. So, yeah, that was, I got to meet, you know, Jehovah, Yahweh, friggin' the Father, Adonai, Abba, however you want to pronounce it. And not just any, like Jesus' dad. So don't get me confused with anything else.